Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Real Estate Pros Podcast. I'm Mike Stansbury. My guest today is Sean Fuentes out of Austin, Texas. Sean, how are you, sir?
I am doing fantastic.
I love it. Love
Great to be here.
We're gonna get into Sean's story and how he's helping people in Austin, Texas. But first, at Investor Fuel, the sponsor of this podcast, we help real estate investors, service providers, and real estate entrepreneurs 2 to 5x their businesses to allow them to build the businesses they've always wanted and allow them to live the lives they've always dreamed of. Sean, so tell me this, before we get into what you're doing now, what's your origin story? How did you get on this yellow brick road of real estate? What was the pivot point? What were you doing beforehand, and why?
You know, I'll make a long story short, and it's kind of, magic, right? My dad is from McAllen, Texas, and my grandmother at the time used to see this. I'm originally from El Paso. She used to see this fortune, just neighborhood lady, and we went down there for my grandma's birthday, and I met this person. I still remember her, and later she told this, and I was still like in high school. Later she told somebody that I was going to build houses, that I was going to be in real estate, and I didn't think much of it. It was told to me. I moved to Austin. I was in construction, then bartended a little bit, and then came here for school. Unfortunately, that didn't work out for me. I wasn't dedicated at the time. But then I got into land surveying. I did 10 years as a land surveyor. I thought I was going to get my numbers, my RPLS numbers, and it just, the dot-com boom kind of happened, or bust happened. I stayed through it, and then we went into the real estate market crash of 2008 to 2011. During, I think it was 2006, I saw an infomercial for flipping house. Went down to some building downtown Austin. They went through it, and I was like, man, I could do this. I mean, I got a background. I know enough about construction to be dangerous, right? I know enough to okay, I don't have the tools. Let's call the professional out and get it done. And then I thought, all right, I'm going to buy a flip house. So I bought one. It was I don't define a flip house. Like a flip house is like you're going down to the stud. I bought an updater. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And that's how with my clients, when they're like, I want a flip house. I'm like, no, you want an flip house you wouldn't even walk into, right? You would smell, all of that would have you run it, right? So anyway, so I started that in 2006. I bought a house, and back then, I don't know if you know anything about the early 2000s, they were just giving money away. The Ninja loan, no income job or assets, was a loan. I tried to get it in Texas, they wouldn't allow it. Comp controller was like, not having that. And I was like, give me $500,000, just give it to me. I'll get this thing going. Anyways, so bought the flip house. Then 6 months later, my realtor at the time was like, hey, you want to buy another one? I was like, sure. So I bought it. Then I had these two houses. I didn't really know what to do at that point. The crash happened. Around 2015, I was like, I got into transportation out of surveying, and I was like, you know what? Everybody's been telling me to become a realtor, so I'm just going to do it. Got my license in 2016. There's a story there, but I won't tell it. And then I told my wife, we sold both of those houses, and I told my wife when we bought the new home, because we sold the two to buy a brand new construction home, that the day after we closed, I was going to put in my 2 weeks and go full-time real estate. So Sunday, we closed on Friday. Sunday, she's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm writing my 2 weeks." She's like, "We just bought this house. Oh my gosh!" And I'm like, "Don't worry, it'll be fine." I always bet on myself, right? If I'm going to
Right.
lose money, it's on myself, right? So, and I never look back. I think the average lifespan of an agent is 3 years, coming up on 10 years. So I've been doing pretty good.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Yes, sir, you are. And just for a little context, I mean, can you speak to, I know what Memphis's market has done as far as the contraction of realtors is concerned. How's it look like in Austin or in your MLS? Does it look like there was a contraction in the last 2 or 3 years?
I think so. Though I haven't gotten the numbers out for this year yet, but I rely on somebody else for that. But in 2023, in October, there was 19,000 agents in Austin. Only 9,000 of them had done one transaction. So I don't know how you go 10 months without bringing in any money. Like I'm sure some of those agents, it's cyclical. They were just like, oh, I'm taking a break, but half the agents in Austin. So what that made me realize was that half the agents in Austin were part-time. The majority. There's probably some brokers that don't do deals anymore, that type of thing.
Right.
But of that 9,000, what, 300 of them maybe? So the chunk of those people that weren't doing business had other jobs. And so they were, and this is a plus and a minus in positives and negatives to this. So I think half the agents, some of them have started to like, I'm not going to renew. It's, we've reached the part of this cycle where it's a skills market, and you either have the
Yeah.
skill or you don't. And and Austin's been so real estate heavy these last few 10 years or so that everybody knows what's happening. Everybody knows an agent, or at least they know of somebody that knows an agent, a lender, those types of things. So it's not hard to find us, um, uh, find out there. But getting back to your question, which was the state of Austin, correct?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I
So if you
the
give us,
realtors in Austin,
so
yeah. So I think we've
there
lost
are three.
some. Yeah, we've
Yeah.
lost some ranks, but I think there are still people like last year. We'll get into this more, but in my opinion, the United States, the other 49 states they're just starting Austin's 2024. What could save them would be rates. Because looking at 2023, when I looked at 2023, the rest of America was kind of stuck in 2022. And now Austin's price point shot way up real quick. Okay. So I think we're just having agents that were part-timers that just aren't doing it anymore. Now they may still keep that license active just in case something happens, but they're just not actually, they're not active in um, trying to find business, trying to close business. If it falls in their lap, do it. Um, but they're not actually out there working as a professional. And I'm not saying
Yeah. So
part-timers can't be professionals, but
but
those
yeah, but
part-timers are
used to
really
like there was a moment in time for the whole market as a whole where people there was just so much business that that your cousin got your real estate license and he did well for 6 months just by having the availability to be
Yeah.
an agent. But that is long gone, and it's a skills. So I see a couple things, and I don't know this to be 100% true, but we locally have had an aging, very much an aging, like the like, if you want to call them boomers or whatever, but they're now exiting the market and retiring at a level and they were a big chunk of the business. So I think while I'm
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
I think there's just opportunity there for people that with the skills to market their services to people in a way that's professional. And I can also tell, just based on my Instagram feed, which I don't get on. Used to be my Instagram feed was just full of new. Like, who is this real estate? I've never seen this person before. They're talented on Instagram, but I don't know if they're talented anywhere in the capacity of getting real business. Some of them are great, and then some of them are just they just know how to edit and look great on the socials. But
I agree with you that there's getting business, there's closing business.
Right.
And most
Absolutely.
buyers and sellers want to close business with a professional.
That's right. So you talked about your flipping house, or I love how you made that distinction. There's a flipping houses and there's updating houses. Some people call it wholetailing or and just reselling, because I honestly do a lot of that in my market. I just find a house, get it under value, and just go in there and paint and carpet or new flooring, and it's a beautiful. I love doing that.
Yeah, new countertops. If it needs an AC, put it in. A new roof. I don't know. Roofs aren't sexy until it's raining. You know.
It's real
Then
sexy
roofs
when you
become
got
real sexy when there's a storm coming around.
Yeah,
You know.
that's right. People love it. Do you still do a little bit of that in your market, or you stick strictly to helping buyers and sellers? Or tell me what that looks like.
If I meet a wholesaler that will send me homes, I sign up, because the wholesalers have a market in Austin, and it's cyclical as well. I guarantee you, wholesalers were having a tough time in 2020 through 2021 because anything on the MLS was selling fast. I mean, really fast. So you were losing money if you went to, I don't want to say you were losing money if you went to a wholesaler. You were probably losing time, was the biggest thing. But so there, it's just like being an agent. There's good times, there's lean times. You just got to plan for a flat line. And when it's up and down, you're going to be good. Um, so yeah, I like dealing with wholesalers, because they know a lot about some things that agents don't run into all the time. Like, let's say you have um, great grandmother bought it, parents owned it, and now the parents are deceased. You have 4 kids, and it's just been the parents went through probate, but the kids didn't. And so now you've got to go through probate. There's not a lot of agents there are a lot of agents that do know about probate, but most of them don't. They don't know what that entails. They don't know that, the buyer could get, the seller could write in the contract that it's subject to being probate. You can get an attorney to kind of give you I forgot what it's called, but like a power of attorney to sign a contract so that you can sell it. All those little details wholesalers know about. A lot of agents don't. And that's okay. So I always want to be. I kind of look at it this way. Like, people say, well, where do you buy and sell? I'm like, wherever my clients are. I go from Georgetown, which is hour and a half from here from where I live, an hour, to New Braunfels, which is could be an hour, depending on traffic, or east, west, wherever they want to go is where I want to go. And it's not so much, it is about servicing my clients, but also getting to know those markets. So somebody says, hey, what do you think of the market? Well, I just sold a house in Georgetown. and I sold
Hmm.
one in the middle of Austin, and then I sold one south. So doing all my research for that, I might not know exactly everything, but I got a pretty good idea of what's happening in all three of those areas.
Wow. Okay, I like it. Um, so in Austin, Texas. So it's not just Austin. So it's a big city. Memphis is a metro is about 800,000. What is
Mm.
Austin as far as metro and
Oh
all
my
the other
God.
little surrounding towns?
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Right.
Well, I don't know our population. I think it's just over 1 million, something like that.
You can throw spaghetti at it. It's okay.
But I will say this. Okay, this is how I describe Austin's population. Like, if somebody tells you they're from New York, right? They're from New York. What does that mean? Like, if you're
Right.
from New York, you say, okay, what part? Where are you from? Because they know New York is just this arbitrary place. So Dallas is the same way. I'm from Dallas. Oh, okay. Are you from Plano? Are you actually from Denton? Houston the same way. Are you from Katy? Are you from Spring? Like, takes an hour and a half, 3 hours to drive across Houston in traffic. So Austin's getting that way. When they go somewhere, they're not saying, "Oh, I'm from Round Rock. I live in Georgetown." Georgetown, Washington. Like, where is it that you live? So they're just using this huge thing. Now, one of the things that's different, and specifically with New York, is the actual downtown is not huge. It's
Right.
decent size, but it doesn't compare to New York or even Dallas or Houston. It's good. It's decent size. And it's been that way on purpose. When I moved here in '92, the saying was big town politics in a small town, right? So we don't have we certainly have enough people here to support a professional anything team. We just got a soccer team a couple of years back, but they don't want anything. When I say the politicians don't want anything to outshine the University of Texas.
They
They
want
want
the Longhorns
they
to have
want the
the.
Longhorns to be. And you're in Memphis. I don't know. How close are you to the Vols? Are you a Vols fan?
No, actually, so Tennessee being a long state, like that could be that's just basically on the other side of the world. That's
Okay.
kind of like, El Paso, right? Or
Yeah.
something. It's a long distance, but no, we're West Tennessee. Not well, West Tennessee. We do have a lot of people that are root for the other UT, and then but we have the SEC is well represented in our town. So you
Oh,
get
I bet.
people every SEC school like that roots because I actually went to school at the University of Arkansas.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, so we're big. We love Texas. No, but we have a lot of Ole Miss, Mississippi State, UT, Vanderbilt, Georgia. We got the whole spectrum here, the
Yeah,
whole spectrum.
amazing.
So and it's fun. It makes it fun.
It's
But let
chippy
me
in
ask
it.
you this, Sean.
Go
What's
ahead.
that? Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say,
Well, I'm gonna
I'm
ask you
a
about.
I'm a passionate fan about my football teams and professional and
Yep.
college, but my fandom only goes so far. Like, I'm not so much of a fan that we need to get in a fight over. At
Right.
least maybe you do, but not you specifically, the royal you. But I'm just like, my team wins the
Hmm.
national championship or the Super Bowl. You know what I'm doing on Monday? I'm going to work, baby. That's it.
That's
I don't
right.
get, I don't get to,
That's
I
right.
get to celebrate and I'm happy, but I still got to go to work. I didn't get any of that money. I got nothing other than my team won.
I got.
So,
That's right. That's right. I used to be to my wife when we got married. I used to be able to watch a full regular season baseball game for 3.5 hours, and she was like, "What do you? This is such a waste of time." And I was like, "What are you talking about? It's the best." And now I don't think I've watched a full baseball game in years. I keep up with it, but I'm not as like the passion. I'm still interested in it,
Yeah.
But definitely, I definitely reordered my loves in my life, and people who, yeah. So I'm
Uh,
with you on that.
come
I love it. I love
October,
renewing. Yeah.
come October, every pitch counts.
Yes.
Every
Yeah.
pitch counts, June, July, yeah, every pitch kind of counts, But yeah,
Kind of.
in October, I'm like, that's when I really love baseball. And who doesn't, if you're a baseball fan in October.
Yeah, it's very romantic, especially about at that time of year. You start getting, even if you're out of it, you can get the storylines pretty
Yeah,
quickly.
yeah, you catch up.
The young pitchers, all of that stuff, and I do love the storytelling when it comes to specifically baseball. That's just romantic. So, but let's talk. Let's center this around what you're doing today. Like, so
Yeah,
you've been a realtor. You have some equity in the business now, and you've seen some different cycles. But specifically today, what is how are you different from the other average the other realtors in your market? How are you helping your clients the best now?
this is a great question. I'm glad you asked it. And really, what it is about right now is pricing, because we've moved from a seller's market into a heavy buyer's market. There's still some places that the inventory is lower than 6 months. So a healthy market is 6 months of inventory. And so what that means is you have 10 buyers and 10 sellers, right? So there's nobody really has an advantage. A buyer's market would be you have more than 6 months of inventory. In a seller's market, you would have less than 6 months of inventory. In some areas, we still have like 4 or 5 months, which would suggest a huge seller's market. But when we look at days on seller's market with 4 months of inventory, 30 days that house should be gone easily.
Right.
And we're still seeing like 90, 100,
Yeah.
days for those that only have 4 months of inventory. So heavy buyer's market in us. Um, we were in a seller's market from about 2012 to 20, 2020. Well, no, till 20. We were in a seller's market from 2012 till today. And so back in 2020, I developed a different pricing model. So essentially what was happening was a house would get listed at, any price, but let's just say listed at 500 and listed on Thursday. On Monday, they had an offer somewhere in the 610, 620, it just depended on how nice the house was. And so I realized that my clients were just getting dusted. They weren't even close. And I was like, okay, why aren't they getting close? And so I had to reevaluate what was I doing to guide my client to this point of, you know, that they're $100,000 off the actual sale price. And back then in Texas, we still have it. It's called the appraisal addendum. What that is,
Mm.
it's 3 boxes. But back then, all the sellers wanted box one, which basically said that you cannot leave the deal if the appraisal comes back short. So you list at 500, you get contracted under, let's say 600. The appraisal comes back at 550. The buyer is bringing 50,000 to put in the seller's pocket to buy the house. Doesn't go towards their loan, doesn't go towards their down payment. It just goes towards closing the deal, and that's it. Well, who wants to sign that? Nobody wants to sign that, right? So I said, okay, I've got to develop a system that allows my client to sign that document with some reasonable confidence that we're going to appraise for that. And so the way that I did that was, and I still do it, and I stopped doing it for a little while because it wasn't necessary. But now that we're in a buyer's market, so back then it was going like this, and now it's going like this. So we've got to get the sellers to understand it's going like this. It's really simple. I would find all the properties that were pending sale. So pending sale is they were on the market, they accepted a contract, and now they're in the process of closing it. So the lender's doing all of it. And I would call the agent, be like, Michael, hey, this is Sean Fuentes, EXP. So congratulations on, 123 Banana Street going under contract. Look, I'm trying to price a home. Would really help me. Did you guys go under contract at list, above list, or below list? Back then, I always knew it was never going to be below list. Um, but using it now could be below list. Um, and then they would say, oh, a little above or a little below, or they would just come out and say, hey, we're listed at 5, we're at 620. And so that bit of information is extremely valuable because now I had these, because you couldn't go more than 15 days in the past to try to start to, to, to price these homes. And so what I would do is I would go 15 days, get an idea of where it was at, and then I'd start plugging in. And I'm going like this because I would create a Google sheet that I would send to my clients, a link. They open this up. Here's what we're doing. These people, these agents usually took about 8 hours to price. It took about 8 hours for all the agents to respond, at least enough of them so that I could get it. And I'd start plugging in the for sale. When you have the sale price, well, you know the price per foot, you know the days I want you. Everything else kind of falls into place. And so now when you're doing an average and a mean, that's what you want to do. It's all going to be high. But if you have a similar property listed at 500, what's the likelihood that it could close at 610? Pretty, in this market, pretty good. And so then I've got this new CMA built off the future, not the past. So it's built off the future, what's coming. And then I say to my clients, look, we know via all this data, right, that this house could close for 610. Easy. But even better, it will appraise for 610. So now you can check box one, knowing that if you don't win, likely somebody's coming with cash to close the deal, not going towards their loan. And so all my clients, once I explained it to them, and I would go through it a little bit further with the spreadsheet and all of that, they get it. Some of them got it right off the bat, and we'd get under contract quick. Some of them didn't. We'd lose another deal. Then they'd say, okay, we understand now. Then they'd start bidding where we didn't win every single one of them because some people would go over, right, over where we thought it should be. But it was okay because my clients were able to walk away. They never were like, oh, the climate was just like they never got hung up on one property that they didn't get because they knew whoever got it was coming out of pocket to close the deal, whatever it was. And then, the second or third time we would get it. And then there's a lot of agents that weren't, well, there were no agents that were doing this. I can't say 100%, but the agents that I talked to, they just had clients that were just like bid higher, bid higher, bid higher. They were escalator clauses. Escalator clause would be like, uh, okay, listed for 5, my client will pay $5,000 over any offer you get up to a certain amount. And so it just goes up till they hit that ceiling, and then if somebody else had an escalation clause that was higher, they would win. I mean, it was, but that's it.
Well,
It's
Sean,
all pricing.
yeah, it sounds like to me that you came up with something that is unique because you took all the emotion out of it. You said, "Hey, here's how I'm going to help you the most. This is why I'm a professional." You didn't say this is why I'm professional, but what oozed out of that whole presentation was, hey, I'm here to help you, but there's data, and then there's future data, and here's how we capture it, and here's how we use it, and the reason why the clients, I think, loved it, and you didn't say that. I'm just thinking through as a client that I would like it's because you took all the emotion out of it, and because people, and that's why they have auctions, live auctions, is because people, they end up looking at somebody and they're like, man, I don't like the way that person looks, or for whatever reason,
I
and
hate
they
that
end up
person out. He or she's not getting it.
no, and that is, and sometimes, when I'm selling a house, you better bet I'm selling an emotion. I want you to look. I want the
Yeah.
wife to just fall in love with this house and turn to the husband and say, "I've got to have this house. Do whatever you can." But in the opposite situation, you obviously want to protect, your capital investment and your being sane. And it sounds like that's exactly, what your superpower is, Sean. So congratulations. You're really helping a lot of people out there in Austin. Let me ask you this, because we're running up on the time allotment, but where can people find out more about you and about what you're doing in Austin? Where can they find you on all the socials, Sean?
You know what? I'm a big Twitter guy, right? Or X.
Right?
Trooper91 is my handle there. I wasn't in the military. My high school was the Eastwood Troopers, and so Trooper 91. So I have a lot of MAGA people contacting me. I'm a GDI. I don't know if you remember GDI. You know what that is? I am a goddamn independent, right? So I don't really. I just in real estate. In real
You're
estate,
really,
I got to figure out
right.
who. Like I have one vote. So Trump won. Great. How can I leverage what Trump is doing to help me make money? Biden won. Great.
Exactly.
How can I leverage if Kamala would have won? How can I leverage what Kamala's doing to
Yeah.
help me make
You got
money?
to adjust. Yeah,
That's it,
exactly.
So Facebook is just Sean Fuentes. I'm getting a lot of this. Same thing with LinkedIn. Those are my three biggest ones. Facebook, Instagram is SeanHomes.com or Sean Sells Homes. Um, uh, Email Sean.Fuentes@exprealty.com. That's the one right there. You send me something there, you're gonna get a
It's
reply.
going to get to your, it's going to get in your info.
I'd give you my phone
Well,
number,
folks,
but
yeah.
if you go to any one of those things, you'll have my phone
You got it. Well, guys, all that information will be in the show notes below. Sean, thank you for being part of the Real Estate Pros podcast, folks. You know what to do if you are moving to Austin or if you're local in Austin and you need somebody that's got that kind of expertise that we just laid out. Contact Sean and he'll help you. So, folks, again, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on the Real Estate Pros podcast. Sean, thanks for being a guest on the show, sir.
Thank you, Michael. Look forward to doing it again. Take care.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.